got another Nick Cage movie, Gary.
That's right. I'm fighting a cold, Andy.
That's
fighting a cold.
Cold.
This is Flick Flops.
Welcome back to Flick Flops, the podcast where we dissect the best and worst of cinema. This episode, we look forward to The Retirement Plan, the 2023 action comedy from Tim Brown, starring Nicolas Cage, Earle Haley, and Ron Perlman, to name just a few stars, if I actually named him correctly, because I screwed that one up. In this movie, Ashley, played by Ashley Greene, so that's a stretch, and her daughter are caught up in a criminal enterprise as she turns to her estranged father, who is retired in the Caymans, for help. The bad guys are ill-prepared as they come to find out that there's more to the meets the eye than Nicolas Cage's Matt or Jim or whatever his name is. Is this comedy worth the watch, or should it be retired to the ranks of the crap heap? Find out on Flick Flops. Yay, I just screwed up that intro, but I don't care. Here we go.
Yeah, Gary's still sick. Let's jump into some numbers real quick. Let's do this because there are things to discuss. So let's do numbers. Rotten Tomatoes, as always, our film aggregator that the world uses and we use also. The critics have this thing sitting at 60, which I think is technically fresh. And the audience has it at 46. So that's technically rotten. The budget for this film was a little under $20 million. I don't have the exact number because I could not find the exact number. All I saw was under $20 million. The box office to date was $1.4 million. I think that lands squarely in the flop category. A side note on the budget or the box office: this film made only $745,000 in its opening weekend in 1,175 theaters. That is Nick Cage's worst opening ever.
Well,
for a while. Do the math on that, Gary, real quick.
I can't do that. That's math, and
I'll do my calculator while you're doing it.
No, curiosity.
Yes.
Did anybody even hear about this movie? Because I
knew nothing about it till you said something.
Came up out of nowhere. To me, that means the studios didn't believe in it anyway.
No, I know a little something about this. By the way, for the record, that was $634 per theater.
Nice.
Which tickets going for what, $16 a person? That's not a whole lot. I read something about this movie, and I think this might have been one of those films that's considered maybe a throwaway or a lost type film. The company that's producing this film, or the production company, they have a deal with the Cayman Islands, and the guy has to shoot films in the Cayman Islands, or something like that. So,
but it's certain to explain a lot.
It explains some of it. It could have been any island, but they made sure they mentioned the Caymans a couple of times in there, which is fine. The writer, you mentioned writer and director Tim Brown, who did both. He wrote and directed this film. Again, one of these guys, he does have some stuff to his background, but nothing that we would really know. Most of his stuff is rotten, completely rotten. I made note of he does have one film sitting at 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. And Gary, I endeavor that we please watch this film. It's called Antisocial 2.
Oh.
So we may need to watch the first one so we don't have any
lingering questions.
Right.
Going into
I beg of you, please, let's watch Antisocial 2 at some point in time to see if Tim Brown, his career holds up. So he wrote and directed, and I do have one critics that I found that I kind of agreed with. So it says this is by Kath Clark, C-A-T-H, Kath Clark, from The Guardian. And her review is, this is a totally disposable but mostly entertaining action comedy drama with a really stupid plot and a few good laughs. I think that's spot on. Because I found... but let's do our ratings, and then we'll get into the discussion of why I agree with that.
All right.
So, Gary, I give this thing 2 Nick Cages because I actually really enjoyed this movie. Go with what your gut says.
Hopefully you didn't pick up any of the sound behind me. There's a distraction going on.
I did not.
I don't know if you noticed my Nick Cage eyes kind of happening there, but
the bees, Gary.
Okay. Well, were you waiting for mine? Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, I mean, hold on. I didn't do it. Hold on. Let me do I didn't do the actual poos. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Boom. We're a little off, but I kept thinking, oh, he's not gonna do Nick Cage faces. That whole spiel's over. But I gave it 2 poos, 2 Nick Cages because I like Nick Cage movies. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I apologize to those who think I'm an idiot.
Yeah, me too. I went with actually 2.5.
Your ratings suck, Gary.
2.5. Hey, it's merely a half one of these more.
I feel like I'm Andy Samberg doing a Nick Cage impersonation.
Yeah, look, when this movie started, I'm only going to say the first 5-10 minutes, I was like, oh, what have I got myself into? Yes. I was dreading it, and I had to go back and look just to make sure, because I'm like, I thought this was going to be a comedy.
See, I thought it was an action film, so the comedy threw me off.
Oh, okay, because it starts off, well, it starts off super serious seeming, but in a very camp, like, in such a bad way, like the dramatic music and then the acting, and I was like, this Ashley Greene, by the way, during the whole opening sequence is some of the worst acting I've seen.
Yeah.
And I guess it gets more forgiving when you consider that it's a comedy and that the action part of it, if they take the action part of it serious, it's a worse movie than I'm saying. because it's played up a lot of, the beginning does play out as if it's serious. There's supposed to be real consequences, and we can get to we will talk a little bit about some stuff, because what the heck. But that seriousness in the beginning is quickly, like, you're thrown into the comedy right after that intro. And that's when, if you're not ready for it, like Andy said, he didn't realize that it was comedy. You're probably pretty shaken at the first intro of the ridiculous Jackie Earle Haley scenes. With them bringing the guy in and all that stuff going on. So,
yeah, I mean, so when Gary suggests films to me, I just go, sounds great. I don't ever look them up to see what I'm in for, especially if it's Nick Cage is in it. I don't even care.
Yeah.
It could be Nick Cage reading the Sunday paper. I'm like, I'm in. So I'm watching this thinking this is an action film, when I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool. I mean, I like, Cage does a lot of bad action films, and I get pulled in pretty good. The same with, and we will in time go over the Bosworth action films, the Steven Seagal action films.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all kind of bad, but I love them, and I'm sure plenty of people do. I don't think I'm alone on this. So I'm watching this thing, and then, like, something funny happens. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm not sure what and I still didn't. You just said it was an action comedy. I didn't even put that. I just figured it was just.
Cage, you just thought it was Nick Cage weird stuff. Got a little fuzzy thing floating in front of me.
I like seeing Jackie Earle Haley in there, because he's always going to be Bad News Bears or Rorschach to me. So
right.
I like that. So a couple of things I just didn't care for. We can talk about things we liked. Again, the film isn't. It's not great. The plot is not going to keep you riveted to it. It's a little predictable when you're watching it.
It's convoluted. There's a lot of, like, who has what, and now who's got that now, who this person's doing what for who, and like,
and wildly unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
That this aging Nick Cage with this horrible wig on can dispose of so many giant, stereotypical, straight out of casting call henchmen. It's from a foreign country, and I'm giant, and I will beat you up. And I'm like, okay, God damn. It's wildly unimaginative in the casting department.
Yeah,
and this speaks to that, in the sense of the fact that in the film you hear about this Hector. It's gonna. Oh man, Hector's pissed. Hector's mad, and Hector is a woman because why not?
Right.
Because in the world of high crime and crime bosses, that's what you think of is you try to do a little switcheroo on us there with a girl.
Right.
I just didn't buy. I thought Jackie Earle Haley was meaner looking than Hector, and I truly thought Ron Perlman should have been the crime boss.
Well, they kind of made it seem like that in the very beginning for a few seconds.
Yeah, but everybody's bossing him around. I'm like, that guy's so big, he would just tell you to shut the fuck up and punch you in the face.
And of all things, they named him Bobo in the movie.
So
Bobo.
That was and I liked Ron Perlman in the movie. I thought he actually is he's a really good actor in an unfortunate
look, I gotta
film.
say, he's one of those guys where don't pay attention to social media, because he's one of those guys that just mouths off about everything and you're like, please just shut up and make movies.
I want to like you, but you're making it hard.
Yeah. And so when I see him in movies, I'm a little distasteful, but I have to admit he's really good in this, and he just plays the part really well.
He does.
There's a lot of good acting in it. Not so much that Ashley, like I mentioned.
Do you know who else got good acting? Go for it.
Well, not so much some of the other characters, and then of course you got Nick Cage, but some of the other actors around here. Now, the Jackie Earle Haley acting in it is clearly meant to be comedic and over the top,
right? Because he's better than it. Because I went back and watched like some Rorschach clips of him, and I was like, yeah, he's clearly a better actor than this.
Yeah, it is clearly, and I kind of feel bad for you not realizing that it was a comedy then to a degree too, because it's without that context, you are kind of thrown into this action movie that you're like, why are these people this ridiculous? Like, because there's so much you can't tell for a while if it's just a really bad movie or not, like a really bad action movie or not, but it's supposed to be funny, and you realize that kind of along the way. But like I said, I knew it going in, so I get it. But
well, and you forgot to mention in the bad acting and the what the F is this guy doing in this movie category, NBA All-Star Rick Fox.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot to mention him. Yeah, I don't know
why.
And horrible, by the way. Horrible.
Like I'm guessing maybe he might have been an executive producer, or he's trying to dip his toe like The Rock into acting.
Maybe, but not good at all.
I mean, I won't say he was the worst in the film, but just like, why?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna have a cameo of somebody that just not a giant NBA All-Star, why not just get Shaq? If you're going to be ridiculous, get Shaq or get Dennis Rodman.
Oh my, he might have fit in pretty well in that
get
movie.
The worm in there.
I will say one thing about the plot, which was very irritating to me. And this is going to be a Big Bang Theory moment where it's like, the nerds in the room. It drove me nuts that they kept talking about a hard drive, and not only did they emphasize that it was a hard drive, but one character mentions a CD, and he's like, "No, it's a hard drive." No, it's not. It's a freaking thumb drive.
Dude.
It's one of those little USB drives, not a hard drive.
Bobo pointed it out more than once.
But it's very, very irritating that they kept doing that through the whole movie.
Well, the thing is, you never find out necessarily what's on it.
No, it's just kind of.
So it's almost like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. Like, what was in it?
Right. Yeah. It's just the thing they're chasing after.
It didn't make or break the movie, but I was just like, well, at least now I always want to know.
Yeah.
Like, was it, uncovering government secrets, which apparently it was, but you don't know. The other thing I tried to look up I didn't dig deep into it was remember when there's a point where they're throwing a body off the boat, and Cage is like, "This is the Cayman Trench. It's 5 miles deep."
Oh,
and I was like, "Can something be 5 miles deep in the Caymans?" So it says it's got a the depth of 7,686 meters. Now, I live in America, so I don't know what the metric system is. I don't know what that translates, but I don't
I
think
love the
that's.
commitment to Cage on.
God, I love it. I love him so much. God, if I could meet Nick Cage, I would probably be in. So good to meet you. Shit, I didn't mean to do it like that.
Oh gosh, man, I'm sorry.
No, I can't stop.
I like you in all the A's films and all the C's films and all the B's. The B's. Films.
Oh God.
Yeah, shit.
Anyway, that's it. Look, if you love Cage, man, watch this movie and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I would say to any of my former lovers, just sit back and enjoy it. It'll be over soon.
Oh man, we got to leave on that note.
Oh, I'm serious. Ask them. They'll probably tell you that.
We don't need. We can just move on. Really, it's all right. We'll try to
Just
keep it
one
family.
time.
Let's try to keep it somewhat family friendly. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like what we're doing here, and let us know if you saw the retirement plan, and if so, what did you think? Funny? Not funny? Convoluted crap?
And also, don't forget, we mentioned our last episode, we are bringing another podcast on board with the family, the Tummy Twins family.
Yeah.
Tangent Station with friends of ours, Kevin and Willis. Hopefully, we'll be out with it by the time you see this, but I'm not positive which order Gary's going to release these in. But check it out. It's a fun podcast. It means it's senseless. It has no topic whatsoever, but it's fun to listen to. And now it'll be fun to watch.
Off the rails comedy.
That's it.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you next time.
Aces. This has been a Touch of Madness production, brought to you by the creative minds at Tummy Twins Media.